Don here. Okay, back with another live stream and more work on the computers today. um, let's see. Okay, good news for me. Well, I can't sign a camera on. I started to. I'll try to get things where I can do that as much as possible. But anyway, the ASRock. I got to look at it so I can remember what I'm trying to say. Running the KlamAV scan on the Fedora 27 system on it on the hard drive, and my 2.5, 3 terabytes worth of data on my USB backup drive. It finally finished after 4 or 5. I don't know. I'll look on there. It says the day it started and the time, so I'll figure that out when I look at it. It's finally finished, but I didn't, go through and delete what I wanted to delete and everything because I wanted to do it on the video. And first I had some other things I had to do this morning on the computer and stuff. What's 102 now? I was outside of what I was going to say. I was out there in the garage for about 10, maybe, well, I don't know. It was probably 20, 30 minutes, I guess. And it was 100 when I came in. And my face was red, and I came in just in time before, you start to start feeling bad and sweating like crazy. I was in front of the fan, so I didn't, and it's a little breezy outside, so when I went just outside the door where my air compressor is, it's inside the garage, but it's like 12 inches from the door, So when you open the door, you can get to it. It's a workbench and table saw table is what that is. But the last couple of videos, it was a section of it where I was out there, but bad video because the Wi-Fi doesn't work good out there. But I do it anyway. I actually figured some things out, keeping on trying. And last one I did was a little better, but I finally figured out I can't just turn on that router out there. I don't turn it off. I leave it on all the time because, in the summer it can't stand that heat. The other one, the Zone, this is the Linksys, my old Linksys, which is not working so good anymore either. But the Zonet's about dead. The Linksys still will do. It used to do 56 megabits all day long, anytime it was on, and it actually had the strongest signal. I think it had a stronger signal than any of these other newer routers I've had that actually claim to have stronger signals and stuff. And as a matter of fact, it would fight with these others and knock their signal down by about a quarter of the three. Say it's up 3/4 of the way. Well, it would bring it down to say half of the way in the graphs, or somewhere in there. Actually, they would fight. They would just go like this up and down in the bar, not bar graphs, but anyway. So I don't want to leave it on because then if I think, well, it might take over. There's always fluctuations in radio signals and always interference. So I figure it will take over at times, which might be worse because it's a repeater for the D-Link. So the way I understand it, when the signal gets weak, it'll take over automatically. Or maybe your device doesn't have to. If I have it set up right, like I think I do, then the device doesn't switch to the other router. It just strengthens the signal. It's a repeater. So. And I believe that is working. Can be kind of hard to tell because there may not be that big a difference, especially when that router's not working quite right. But it's better than nothing. I can tell that. Just by the lack, like when I was out there the last time, I got to remember, don't move the camera fast because that's when there's not enough frames being sent, and so it gets all kind of blurry and jump frame. But when it wasn't, okay. I cannot get everything right. When you just turn it on, I start a sentence and I go into something else. When I just turn it on, the D-Link doesn't see it. I figured that out yesterday because when I was trying to, wanted to put my backup server online out there because I have my other one sitting over here on the desk because the noise, was making noise. It wasn't showing up in the D-Link, so I had to go out. I had to reboot the D-Link. I finally dawned on me, okay, if I reboot the D-Link, if it's going to work, it'll see it, and I did, and right on. Then the machines showed up. Actually, there's two gateways out there, 300 megahertz, 350 megahertz, and a 500 megahertz. They're both Pentium 3s that have Domain 6 on them. I think. Well, I think there's Domain 5 on the 350 megahertz and Domain 6 on the other one. That's about as new as they can run as far as like Domain and Fedora type stuff. They couldn't run Fedora. Well, I don't think they can even run. Yeah, I don't think they can even run Fedora like 5, what I started with, because I started with that on a Pentium 4, and that was about right for it. It ran good, But anyway, So when I reboot the D-Link, then I saw my server. I saw one of them, the other one didn't, and I didn't even have the monitors plugged in. I knew if the server one would just, it would start serving it when it's on, when it's booted up, and so I didn't even plug in the monitor because it was kind of a pain to get to. I had it on another machine, you know, and so anyway, it worked as soon as I rebooted this router, and I was able to forward to it, and it's still working. It hasn't quit working or anything. The router it's the router that will get overheated and quit. It'll get down to so slow that you'll get reports of your server being down, because I have a couple of services that monitor it, and I've just been going there, you know, to the website and looking, and it's been up for 24 hours. A couple hour or two ago, I looked. So good. I don't. My website's not down while I'm having to work on this. And so anyway, I'm going sidetracked from what I'm trying to get into. The cooling, the CPU cooler fan, that's what's one of the things that's wrong. That hard drive's making noise too. I may have two problems, but I've got my endoscope on so I can use it later. So it's just kind of sitting there. I just threw it up there just to test it. So that I'll get to after. I'm going to go ahead and switch now so that I can get going on it. Where's my long stick? Okay, now I'll switch over to the ASRock. And it's running Fedora 28 Live Security just off the USB stick, and it's running KlamAV Scan, which you got. It has about everything under the sun but a virus scanner, or the only virus scanner, KlamAV. But you can. And as per usual, my allergies weren't all that bad this morning, but now they are. Of course, I don't know that they necessarily got worse when I came in from being outside, but they have. But half the time they're worse in the house than they are outside, actually. But anyway, it's done. And of course, I don't want to try to do a remote desktop, even though it's a bad video like this, because this thing has been running. Oh, let's see how long it's been running. Well, first I got to say, okay, that's what that little deal in the middle is. It's complete. Virus is found. So you do that, and then it'll let you back in to do what you need to do. And I've been taking screenshots along the way. And I did take a screenshot of that. See, it went from like 182 to 332 by the time it was finished. Viruses problems found. So I'll go through them and delete everything. Now, when I started this scan, where is that? Oh, no, not the launcher. Oh, I guess you got to be at the top or something. Where is that? Oh, it's the tab itself. So the tab says Friday, June 29th at 12 p.m., 12:04 p.m. So that's when I started it. So where's the calendar? There it is. Okay, so this is July the 2nd at 17:18. I never did set the clock on this one. Where's the clock? Okay, it's 4:18 p.m. in real people time. I'm not a military understander. I wasn't in the military. So I don't know why they default to that. But so that's well Friday. Wait a minute. Friday to Monday. Okay. Let's just go back to Friday. Friday was, no, not that Friday. Oh, my gosh. Friday the 29th. Yeah, I thought that was a week. So, 29. Okay. 30, 31. I'm going to just count it on my fingers. 30, 31, 32. Wait, I can't count. I guess I can do the math easier than I can count it right now. My brain always does different things at one time. Now I've completely messed up the date by clicking on it. I wonder if it'll go back to normal. Yeah, it did. Okay, so this is the 2nd. So from Friday to Still can't do it. Oh, Friday to Friday, 7 days, right? Okay. And June 29th. Yeah. Friday, July. When it goes out of the calendar, it throws me off. Okay. 29. I started on a Friday. Okay, so the 6th would be 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. I can't believe that 10 days went by so fast, and I've got as little done as I have. So 10 days. That's how long it took on a 8-core. KlamAV is slow. I mean, 8-core with 8 gig of RAM. And you know, I was a bit worried about how the thing was running when I was the only time there was 2 reasons I was worried. The mouse seemed spongy on it. It's not doing that in here. I don't think I've ever seen it do it. So there may actually have been, I'll see when I go start deleting this. I kept wondering, well, there's either maybe malware that did get into this system. The whole reason I'm doing all this work and reformatting, and you can previous videos explain all that. I've said it so many times. I don't even kind of lose. I don't know. I don't want to say it again, but also I'm just kind of losing the track of thought because I'm in the middle of, you know, updating things. Anyway, either that was what it was, or there is one possibility. I knew this going into it, that this 8300 AMD 8-core processor is not actually in the list for this ASRock motherboard. It's a little bit older one. It was made before this processor was even made, but 8 cores were out, and it supports, well, really a short list of 8 core. It has a list of 8 core of all processors officially supported. And the short list is about 3 or 4, maybe 5 of 8300s of what they weren't even made then. But anyway, I kept doing a bunch of research and decided that it would run but since it doesn't have CPU cooler, doesn't have cooling fans on the VRMs, the voltage regulator modules, that it would probably overheat they say it would overheat if you overclock it. And all the people that kind of really get into that and telling each other what's going on seems to be gamers. Well, this is from my mom. She's not a gamer, you know. No way. She doesn't even really watch videos. So I thought, well, it does have a 512 megabyte video card, which is older now, but it should be fine for her since she doesn't even watch videos. And the onboard on this motherboard is only 256 megabytes, I think, or maybe 348 or whatever. Might be. I've forgotten now. So anyway, I'm using her video card, and it's always been real good. No problems. Never needed anything else with the dual-core AMD and a different motherboard, a BioStore motherboard that she used to run in this machine. So I was starting to worry when OBS Studio, when I would have it in camera mode for a good long time, I'd set it up and turn it on as a backup stream, and then whenever I wanted to stop the stream on my main machine, it would switch to that. Like if I was going to reboot because when I was reformatting my low Wi-Fi, the one I'm streaming from right now, I could reboot it, and then it would automatically switch to the other one on the ASRock, the other stream, and not lose the thing. And I could just make sure I put it on the camera like I'm doing right now, and it would show it all. So I was doing that, but then twice, after it ran a while, I'd get over there, and it was still streaming. But I'd get over there, and the OBS screen was all white, wouldn't respond, and didn't matter if I waited a while, and I put it on desktop and waited a while, thinking maybe it would come back, but it didn't. But I could force close the program. The rest of the machine was working. Well, anyway, it's been running 10 days with just, off of a live system, just its memory and processor, everything running in memory, and which most machines can't do that very well. I've tried doing virus scans in other machines like dual cores, and they'll lock up before they get done with this KlamAV, because it really, I guess I don't know if it's the nature of the way the program's written, that it's slow and uses probably more resources. It does. I can tell it uses more resources just by the way the machines run than, like, say, Bitdefender. Bitdefender is really fast. And running it on a live, I did this drive before with Bitdefender on a live system. And actually, I did try to do it again, and the program just closed. And I started worrying about this processor again. But it could have been me, because I left the machine like this, where you could get to it and then turn off the monitor. Well, the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is get dust off my monitor and my keyboard. I wipe it with a paper towel just to get the dust off of it. I think I did that without thinking before and I didn't have it like even minimized, the screen for Bitdefender. So it could have. I probably hit escape. That escape's out there all by itself. It'd be one of the first keys you hit. And I kind of try to wipe between the keys. So I probably hit 10 keys. I know I did it again. I forgot again, but I had this over here like that. And but I did leave it on the KVM switch on this machine just so I could turn it on and off and look at it easy. And I did that one day. Like, I did it the very next day, I guess. First day I was running it. And then when I looked in here, everything was highlighted. Half of it, or a quarter of it, about 20 lines were highlighted. So I thought, crap, I better not leave it on there. I knew better, but I just convenience, So I put it on a different spot. Like, say, on what I usually do, I usually leave it on the Lenovo i5. And so I've been doing that, and I didn't mess it up or anything. And luckily, we didn't have any power loss or anything. So before this hot summer day, and we have a glitch of power loss, since I don't have a power backup, I better get this. I should have done. I thought about doing it this morning, but I didn't feel very well, and I did some stuff just on the computer first, and then I decided, well, before it gets too hot, I better go out there and dig around for a fan for this IBM server. And actually, it was already 100 degrees. I didn't even realize it until I came back in how hot it really was. And so anyway, I didn't realize how late it got in the afternoon. So on and on. I got so many different things trying to do at the same time now. My mind's in circles more than ever. So I'm just going to start at the top, and I have them organized by the name of the problem, and that makes it easier to figure out. Like all of these have the same name, and even it looks like they have, well, they're slightly different numbers at the end. Some of them, since they are the same, I probably won't be able to quarantine them all at once. I'll try it and see what happens. I'll just do it that way. Or actually, the smarter way would be to do the ones that are in the same folders. But it'll tell me. But I wish you could see all this. But let's do this. Let's see. I'll do a screenshot of that, and then I can, if I remember and feel like it's not too much of a waste of time, I can go back through my screenshots and really show what happened. Hard thing is to remember, what did I do? What was going on, just by the screenshot. But Kingo Root APK. Well, that's an Android root app, and they warn you. That's in my backups of my Android phones. The ones I'm streaming with. And there's 3 phones, so I got 3 backups. So it's in there, and it probably will only. I'll show you, or tell about it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and delete them just because who knows if it could be. The people making the app say this is it's really not malware. It's just the nature of how it works, and that happens with security pen testing stuff too. Yeah, it probably is, but I didn't ever delete it before, but I want to be thorough, so I'm going to delete it, because who knows, it could have Trojan downloaders in it or something that could actually mess up other things, just because somebody says, oh, well, I'm not bad, doesn't mean they're not, I don't have no way to know for sure. I tried it on one of my phones, and actually my phone's bootloaders are locked. I didn't know that. I didn't even know about that at the time. I'm pretty new to Android still. I got these phones 2 or 3 years ago, and that was the first Android first smartphones I've ever had. But I'm really familiar with Linux, so as far as the underlying operating system, I was right on board. It's just the way Android's ecosystem is that I really still takes a lot of getting used to, and I don't like it. It's like Windows malware. It's full of Windows type malware. It's full of the freeware, shareware ecosystem type of thing. It's the reason I got away from Windows and went to Linux. I don't like that. I love free software as much as anybody, but I can't stand that way of doing it. With the ads in your face and all that junk and the tricky crap, and always not knowing if it's a bad app that's full of malware, and all that. So, that one, it's in there like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's in 6, 7 different places. And if I want it again, I did save the links to get back to it. I kept saving it thinking, oh, it might. I really did. Okay, I had a hard time finding one that didn't show up in VTZilla Virus Total Scanner as being sure enough malware. They were offering it up on other sites, and they were infected. So that's one reason why I kept saving it. I'm talking myself out of deleting them all right now because it was hard to find them. But you're going to want the newer version. If I ever decide to go back, I do think I'm going to go back and root those things and unlock the bootloader at some point because I want to try running like Fedora for ARM on it, real sure enough Linux. The only thing well, of course, if I were using them for phones, it wouldn't be too practical because they wouldn't be phones anymore. But I could always dual boot them or something. But anyway. Yeah, and see in Android, if you use the backup feature, then it'll rename the .apk to .apk.backup. So it's in there again and again. That's why it's in there so many times. Okay, so let's just go type at a time. So that's actually all that same file. I hadn't realized that, but it's called. It just says ANDR for Android, malware agent, and a number at the end. But it is for rooting the device, so the nature of it would be considered malware by most scanners, or a lot of scanners. So anyway, right-click and then click. Actually, just let go of the right-click on quarantine. Now, the problem with it's going to do that on each and every file that it can't quarantine because it's already in. What's going to happen? It's going to already be in quarantine, and it can't do the same file twice. But it says, problem with that file, check your disk space, the permissions on your quarantine location, and whether a file of the same name already exists. Well, that's generally what happens. I know that's what's been happening because the same. They're all duplicate files. So I'm going to screenshot that to help me know what to do. Okay, now it's going to happen over and over, and I'm not going to keep screenshotting every one of them. Okay, one of them went in there. I saw the little deal. And get to the end of all the pop-up messages. Now, there's only 3 of them that went in there. When I get over here, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to have to do is go into quarantine. And funny thing about this KlamAV, quarantine doesn't show anything until you refresh it. And there's sometimes when you refresh it, it still doesn't show anything. And there is a way I found a workaround. It's not showing it. Okay, here's the workaround for it. I'm going to copy that address. It's right up there in the top of where it's home live user.klamav quarantine. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to a different window. It doesn't look like it's going to come up no matter how many times I hit refresh. So I'm going to go in there and manually delete them with the file manager. So let's see, I want live. I'll click on one of these. Since I can't use my favorite file manager, I'll have to use, well, there's file manager buttons all over the place. Home live user, that's what I want. Open the folder. Okay, so I want .klamav quarantine. Well, that was easy to find. Okay, now here they are. The Kingo root app. One of them's a backup. 2 of them are backups, I guess because they have different enough names. So I'm just going to highlight them and click delete on the keyboard. Go back over. Of course, they shouldn't be in there now. Back to the scan window. Now I'm going to click on, I'll just click on those 3, and maybe will quarantine. Let's see. Maybe they'll be different enough. No. So usually when I know I've got a bunch of duplicates, I'll just go ahead and, okay, one of them quarantined. So let's go get it out of there. I'm going to still try when I want to go to quarantine, I usually see that virus browser and I start to click on it. That's not quarantine. That's where you can look stuff up and that'll freeze up the darn application anymore. I haven't been able to use it in a couple of years without it freezing. Now it's in the folder. I'll delete it. It may get down to me having to do them all one at a time. So more of kind of a pain. I'll try this one by itself. You don't have an option to just straight delete from here. Still won't do it. I don't know why it's saying, it says it can't do that one. I may end up having a problem. And then I have to go to those locations and manually delete them if I can't get the quarantine to do it, and that's slow, so I'm going to try not to do that. Let me try refreshing quarantine again. I'm going to just hit delete, restore. I don't know what restore does. Oh, that would restore files. Yeah, if you had some in there and you wanted to restore them, that's what it does. It's silly. Okay, and then what you do is when you hit delete, they go down to the bottom, and then you hit delete again, and that completely permanently deletes them. But yeah, with this many, this can end up being a bigger chore than I thought. Gotta pay attention to what I'm doing here. Okay. Yeah, when you right click, there's quarantines at the top, and then below that, the option to quarantine, and then it says search for Android malware so and so on virus list, virus pool, trend micro, Google. That will go into that virus browser, and that'll probably lock this up. So I used to use it, but it was very, very slow in responding. But I haven't been able to use it for a long time. I hope this doesn't go on and on. I don't know what makes it do that. It just happens once in a while. I have no idea why. There. Now this time it showed up. I don't know. It finally refreshed like it should, and it showed up. Let's see which one it is. I'm going to see if I can get this kind of organized in a way so that I'll be able to tell what file it is I'm dealing with and where it is. I mean, one good thing, okay, I'm going to hit delete. Now it's down here. I'll do that again. I don't know if it'll stay. What I give it, the spacing I give it will stay or not. We'll try it. Okay, now I'm going to delete it. Usually it's a lot easier whenever you don't have, first time I've had this problem over and over like this in a while. Okay, quarantine, nope. Now I'm not going to screenshot every time, every action that I do. Nope. But one thing is when that's happening, if you go back to quarantine and refresh and make sure, I don't know why it's not refreshing right and not deleting. Let's see, where are those? It's harder to go to them because you can't right click and copy the address or anything. Down, let's see, Don's Android, and then I've got two sections for my Android. I was about to think, well, maybe I will, let's try this one. Nope. I was about to think, well, I'll leave them in there because of the story I just told, but I don't know, it's probably wiser to go ahead and go. Okay, but the hard thing is getting there. See, I want to be really careful because if I open another window, another thing inside of this window, I could do that, and then when I go to close it or something, it might not close quick, which happens all the time, and then I'll click it twice, and then it'll end up closing this. That would be a disaster. I'd have to scan for 10 days again to get this back up again. I think I'm going to leave them as they are right now and see if I can get rid of the rest of the things I want to get rid of before I go on to going manually. If I had my Crusader file manager, well, it wouldn't help, actually. Oh, in this file manager, this is Thunar, you can paste addresses in here, so it would be fine. No problem to copy and paste addresses, but you can't do that. You have to work your way through the directories. And as fast as it takes me to go over here, I can't remember what all that long address was, is my problem. All right, now, let's see what this is. Oh, this is another, oh, I see. This is another eStrongs. This is eStrongs and Android Pop APK backup. That was a file manager that I didn't like anymore and I decided to get rid of. It's showing a malware agent. Sometimes, even though they look like they're going to be in the thing that, well, they're not going to be in identical places. They couldn't be with the same name. Anyway, those three I'm going to try. I haven't tried those yet. Quarantine, no. That's a new one, so I'll go ahead and click a screenshot of that. Okay, quarantine one of them. Go to quarantine. I don't understand why it won't refresh. Hit and delete. I wonder if hitting delete made it. A minute ago I hit delete and then I was able to get another one to go in there. Let's do that. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Okay, well, let's go back. Yeah, let's go actually to the quarantine folder, see if there's something in there. It sure is. Oh, well, you wasn't thinking. Okay. You have to go, if you're going to have to do my work, the only workaround I could imagine of making this work, you got to go delete them and then go back. Now, let's go see. I think it probably helps to hit the refresh, even if it doesn't show up that it's working. Nope. Okay, let's see if we got anything in there. This is, at least Thunar shows the file immediately. You don't have to refresh it, you know, when there's a new one in there. Try to quarantine that one. Yeah, with the drive, so many different folders on it, this is probably going to end up being a way lot longer process. That was one reason why I didn't do it this morning, because I was not awake enough to try and do it. There's the refresh, but yeah, there's nothing in there. Okay, so I'm gonna, now here we've got, now here's some that I imagine are sure enough. Email exploit efail with a number on it. I think I'll try them one at a time this time, see if it makes any difference. These are two same name. It looks like the same number, and there's 4 entries of it. This one was in Fedora 13 Theta. This is Mom's Mozilla. Firefox, though, not. You would think it'd be Thunderbird, like in the trash or something. This is Firefox Cache, but it's an email exploit called efail. It's in there twice. And then again, this is Mom's backup from her machine that I'm actually, it'd be off of the hard drive that's laying here in the desk now. I'm not going to reformat it or anything until I'm completely through. You know, I backed everything of hers up onto my USB drive. That's why it's all in here. So actually look almost there's something different. Oh yeah, different folder for Mozilla, Firefox, and then like an auto-generated QQ. Actually, it looks like the same folder. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't see why they look like the same folder. I can't see the difference. They got to be something different about them, or they wouldn't be in there with the same name, you know. But it's in the cache, the default cache. And see, that's the thing about when you just straight back up stuff, then you're going to get cache, and then if there is something bad in there, it just stays there. And you know, if it's a malware bomb, you're on a Windows system, it could be a problem, you know, when the bomb goes off. So like at some future date. So anyway, that one went in there. Okay, now let's try the next one. I'm pretty sure it won't. Yep. See if this one goes in there. You're quarantined. Okay, it didn't show you the little dialogue that time. Okay, so those two went in there. Now let's go see if we can refresh. Ah, it worked. Now why did it start working? I don't have a clue. But I'm going to go ahead and delete those. Now if this is the normal way, and then delete them again, and then you should be able to put the next one in there. Let's see. Email exploit. Okay, let's try this one. Actually, I should be able to try both of those at the same time. No, not going to let me. One at a time. Let's go back to the quarantine. Well, let's go look in the, yeah, there's nothing in the quarantine folder. It's really being persnickety today. It's aggravating me now. Quarantine. It's, I had this trouble before in older versions, but I actually figured it was a bug, and I thought they'd fixed it. But now see, when you've deleted them, I mean, this time it worked normally, and it's still, it's acting, it thinks that it's still in there. And I've refreshed it, deleted it. There's a clear all down there that I've never quite understood. Well, that would give you, I guess, to take all these. If you said, "Oh wait, I don't want to delete these," you could clear it and it'd probably take them out of the final delete area. but it is not letting me do those, period. So before I move on down here, and there is a possibility they really are in the same folder. These look like they are. And so when I think I just now remembered, for some reason it registers it twice, but they really are in the same folder, so it's really actually already gone now. And I see several of them, all these ones that are doing that to me. Let's just do it now. I was going to go on down to the bottom. Well, I want to get, I tried to go down the bottom and it jumped out of my mouse and didn't. Okay, now see the next ones that I'm really worried about is these that say exploit, PDF exploit, there also is, and then SWF exploit. And a lot of these are in the Firefox quarantine again, of a different system. This is my Lenovo i5, Mozilla Firefox. I said quarantine, I meant cache, default cache. But it's kind of hard to for me to read that and see where they are and all that. So I'm just going to, again, I'm going to stick with the ones that are the same name. It just seems like a way to organize it for me. Quarantine, okay. Kind of started forgetting. Okay, so quarantine 2 of them. Let's go to the quarantine, see if we can get them to show up. Nope. All right. Let's go over here. There they are. We'll delete those. Now, I don't think these are being put into trash. Let's go to trash. Oh, they are. So, of course, this is a live system, so it wouldn't actually matter. They're going to be gone when you reboot, but you want to pay attention to when you're doing this. If things are going to trash, they're still there. They're not gone, just like in Windows, So, and plus, if you don't have lots of memory or resources, you could be filling it up. Those files were big. These aren't, but if they were, you could be filling up your trash on your live system, then you'll be stuck and can't do anything or even lock it up. You may not know what's going on. So it looks like, yeah, I'm going to have to. Of course, I know the quarantine's empty because I just manually emptied it. I'm sure that does something not good for the quarantine system, knowing what's going on. But what else? It's the only way I figured out how to get rid of them, is to just manually delete them when it does that to you. Okay, so now here we go. Here's some real files that you want. I'm like, okay, do I want to delete those or not? Let me don't unselect them until I'm sure. Okay, now this is an actual. What? Theta 1 with FileZilla dates. Oh, FileZilla. I guess they had the dates on them that were wrong, and I actually made a folder saying. Oh, I see. Yeah, 11/11/17 date, and then the file date was probably whatever date, and I wanted to specify. So this is a tax information downloaded from Tarrant County in Texas tax office, PDF file, but it says PDF exploit Talos can. Now, used to I would think, oh, that wouldn't be infected, but anybody, well, governments are big target. The government, and now since the last 10 years of government sites being hacked and exploited and everything else, they're big targets. Of course, common sense would tell you they're big targets, but they've been successful. So, and this looks like the same file over and over again too. So, that's not an important enough file for me to hang on to. Whoops, trying to select them all. Every one of them has the exploit. Organizing by the exploit can be interesting. I mean, it can drill down real quick because, normally I would think organize it by the folders they're in, but organizing by the exploit makes you see, oh, that file's everywhere. If it's in more than one place, everywhere it shows up with the exact same exploit. So maybe it really is a bad file. Maybe it got infected or something, you know. Screenshot that one. And I imagine, I don't know how many copies of it will get deleted. We'll go see one so far. And I can't get it to refresh and show it. It's really weird. It seems awfully random. So yeah, I imagine what I'll do is painfully go back and delete every one of these. If they're, look for them, and if they're there, some of these look like, it looks like there's 2 entries for the same folder. Like, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it may be that, but I don't know why I can't. Actually, normally once you empty the quarantine folder, there, oh, let me do one, okay? Probably I'm beginning to forget to do that every time. Now it let me do another one, okay? And it actually showed up in the quarantine too. So let me try them. Try them again. I'll just select them all. I don't think it hurts to do it that way. I don't think it makes any difference in your success if you do them one at a time or all at the same time. It's just that if it sees, I really don't know why. Oh, let's look in here. Yeah, it's in there again. Not staying. Sometimes I can do just fine, you know, telling a story and working at the same time, and sometimes I can't. I just get all turned around. So I guess I'm all turned around today. If I was on the desktop, then it wouldn't be as important. For me to narrate every single action I'm doing, you know, but I'm not. You can't tell what I'm doing. You know, I was on, you know, video of the desktop instead of a camera. Okay, so what I can tell here, yeah. I'm not going to be able to delete any more of those. And there may actually be a few up in the, like broken executables and stuff that I may not want to keep either. So I guess I'll just keep going. I'll go through it twice. I'll go through and do everything I can this way. And then I'll, let me check my sound and everything. I just realized my preview's been playing. It's been playing this whole time. So I'll check it and then pause it. Okay, now here's, those look the same spot in the same file. What is this? It's, no, there's some more. Oh, this is Chrome cache. So definitely doesn't make a bit about, you don't need those. SWF exploit. Those are Swift, you know, flash file, like a banner ad or something probably that's infected. So those are, I'm certain those are infected, all of them. So you know, I wouldn't want those. One of them quarantined. I'm sure they're probably all the same file, but they, and again, I finally remember, there it is, so we'll delete it that way. Finally remember, and I think, I'll go ahead and empty trash to make sure I don't end up filling. I don't think I'd have a problem with the 8 gig of RAM, but let's just go to the trash, empty it. Okay. Where is it? Empty trash. I got some screenshots in there too. I don't know why they're in there, but I'm not going to worry about that. I hope surely they're not being saved to the trash. Okay. KlamAV quarantine. Oh, well, I was in some blank window and it's, oh, I was in the quarantine window and it was blank. I was like, oh no, what have I done? That's one reason why I'm running all the way through it. Okay, it quarantined in another one, and they are in different folders, so that makes sense to the way this thing works. So, yeah, and there we go. Now, let's see, but normally you'd be able to, after you get those deleted, completely deleted, you should be able to quarantine these, but you can't now in this particular instance today. I don't know why. But most of these, I really want them gone, so I'm going to have to manually go through all and find the folders that they're pointing to. But I wanted to get rid of everything I could the simpler way. I would say automatic, but it's not very automatic. But okay, so now I've done. There's that email one. Let's see if we can quarantine it now. Nope, still can't. And there isn't anything in the quarantine folder. Okay, so I'm going to look through these other files, these heuristics, broken executables, and see if any of them look like they would be, dangerous files like boot VMLINZ. No, those are your kernels actually. They're not. This is I don't know if this is the Fedora 27. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, it doesn't say live system, so I think I scanned the live system too, because I just let it scan everything. Lib firmware. These are the ones that always showed up as, well, they're not showing up as malware. They're showing up as by heuristic scan, a broken executable, but they would be broken if they were Windows files, but they're not Windows files. So I guess this KlamAV still looks for Windows type viruses and Windows type potential problems. They haven't, even though it's like the main Linux scanner, the only one that, well, they're not just a Linux scanner though, but they are the only one I know of that runs on Linux anymore. So it's still geared for Windows systems, really. That's why you got to manually go through all this. That, and you really just kind of have to. I don't care what scanner you use. I don't like scanners that don't let you, because to really clean a system up, you need to go through it and understand all this and figure out what's. There may be things here that the system doesn't know for sure. The scanner doesn't know for sure, but you may know, that it's bad. Sometimes just because of where it is and stuff like that. Okay, so these are all system files. We're still in the heuristics broken executable section. Now we're on my backup drive. Cloverlight tool pack. That is in the easy to boot. Oh, that's in the downloads folder. So I don't need that. It could be broken. That's a Microsoft Cloverlight. Don't need that if there's any. One of them deleted, one of them didn't, which they look like. I think we have got just double entries of everything. It's one of the weird things that's going on here. I mean, they're showing to be in the same folder from what I can see. It's easy for me to miss a line or two here, but they look to me to be identical. Two entries of the same folder. And see, the problem could be that, of course, disk space. Of course, that's one reason why I emptied the trash. File permissions. I've ran into a few that could not delete even as root. I think once or twice I couldn't even delete it as root. I don't know about in KlamAV, but let me keep going here. Quarantine below. Permissions of your location. File with same name or existing quarantine. Let's see. Disk space. Permissions of the quarantine location. Permissions on your quarantine location. But that's fine. It's been saving files in there. Yeah, I guess that could be a problem. But and what are the file with the same name? The problem I've been having is not only are the same name, but they're coming from the same directory. So I remember figuring out before, those are actually gone when you go looking in those folders. That's why I'm one of the reasons I'm waiting to go look, because I may figure out right quick that they're not even there. I remember I started remembering whenever I've discovered that, and I was really confused trying to understand that. But let's see, the quarantine folders permissions. Let's see if I can see what they are. Okay. It says live system user read and write. A group, live user none, others none. Well, that's fine, and obviously I've been able to use it in a normal way sometimes, but not all the time. So So yeah, I guess when I get done, I'll go back and I'll look and see files there because I got to thinking, how am I going to find these again? Well, they're all next to one that I was able to quarantine, so I think that'll be fine for me to find them again. Okay, easy to boot, win boot. That's my easy to boot system. It's just yeah, it's a broken executable. This is one that I really don't want. Now, I'm kind of trying to keep some sort of plan here, like where I don't get confused even more than I already am. Okay. My Phone Explorer firmware. Oh, okay. I used to use that. Oh, and they're different files. I think those are okay. They just say they're broken. They are. That's an app data. Let's see. Windows 7, ASRock. Those are not things that. That's a system that I reformatted. There's no reason to keep those then. So, a broken executable, that's a Windows file. See, these are Windows files. They could be infected. Okay, we got rid of some or all. I didn't get any of those messages. So, yeah, they're all quarantined. Good. See, they're all different files, even if they were probably I think they're in the same folder, but they're different files. So, there's another one I see that I probably want to get rid of. Let's see. Whoa, don't click on virus browser. Okay, yeah, see, there they all are. Now, that's how it's supposed to work. It seems to be that when you have the duplicates is when it gets all out of whack. Now, that's how it's supposed to work, and that's a lot easier. Okay, now here's one. FET Pro 430. I used to use that. It's a Windows program for writing to the TI MSP 430 boards. But it was just a trial thing anyway, so it wouldn't work anymore most likely. And it says broken executable, so if it's broken, then it could be infected. The thing is, they may not have been, I've finally learned, they may not be infected when and you may have used them for years, but then one day they did have some sort of vulnerability in them to where one day something that got on your system crawled in there, some worm. So, and then it can do damage, real damage. So. Okay, here's one. Oh, RM Prep USB. Yeah, that one, I'm not really so sure. It just says broken executable. Yeah. And Sardu, well, it's an old Sardu anyway. RM Prep USB is pretty good, but you can download those freely if you want them again. So I'm going to get rid of those. And, of course, some of them I wasn't able to get rid of. Just like before, because I think there might be duplicate entries. Let's see if I can. Seems like every time that you get that error, then you can't get the quarantine to work right. I don't know. Maybe if I do them one at a time, it would make a difference. But let's see. Nope, still can't quarantine it. Nope. Well, maybe for some reason. Today, I shouldn't do a bunch at a time. Well, if I see that they're in the same folder, here's another one. Well, that could be duplicate entries of the same file. I keep forgetting that. So that might be the real problem. Okay. Dell 1525 laptop total commander, my favorite Windows file manager. Don't need, an old backup of that. Now, okay, it went just fine, but it didn't show up. Now it shows up when I refresh. I can delete. Now I can delete. Okay, now let's go to the next entry of it and see if it quarantines. Nope. Same. I haven't been reading that error. I just suspect it to be the same. Yeah. Those may very well be very well actually be gone. So, okay. Now, this is the Dell 1525, but it says play on Linux. So this is the Linux system, and it was Windows. What was it? Installer EAB7MSI. I don't know. I'm gonna just try both of them. There's two of them. I think one of them will work and one of them won't. Same old story. But when you do it that way, okay, that's what gets it out of whack. That's when it won't work. Then I have to manually delete it. So I guess it is a bad idea to bad idea to try them both when you see that. If you see they both have the same address, looks like the same file in the same folder, that gets things out of whack. All right, now downloads Geeksbox. Oh yeah, this is an old Media Center, an i386 version of Geeksbox Media Center. It's always showed up as a broken executable. All of its files do. And then glibc. This is all Linux stuff, and this is still no. Yeah, Geeksbox. Okay, so that's all right. And what is this? TV Guide Delegate. What is that? Log files. Oh. Theta, local share, TV Guide Delegate. They all say that. They have different numbers and stuff. i386 core. It's a .local team viewer. I didn't remember putting team viewer on her system, but it's in Theta's Hot Rod PC or Fedora 14. But it says just says backup Theta's Hot Rod PC. Okay, that would be the Fedora 14 system. And I know it probably. Well, let's see. Okay, can I tell if they're duplicate, if they look like the same? I really can't hardly tell. So this one I can see there's two of those. So quarantine that one, and that works. So if you don't try to do two of them, it works. Okay. Of course, now that I've got it all set up, it's really not hard to to do them over. Delete them out of the folder over here. But it's still, and see, it won't let you delete the next one because I think it's just not there. Oh, I see. I can see. There's two. That are identical. But you know what? Okay, so that takes 3 or 4 more steps, right? So really, my little problem, even though it's a problem, if I just go and select them all, the ones that are that same file name, say quarantine, it'll do what it can, and then I can go over here and just quarantine won't bring them up, just like I thought. Okay, so but I can go over here and delete the 3 that are in there, like that. And if I think I'm getting too much in trash, then I can empty trash. There we go. I'm getting some sort of system going here. I'm really aggravated that I'm going to end up. I mean, if you don't go back and try to go into, well, I guess you only have to go into that folder one time, though. I've not had to do this before, though, and I just lose track of what file am I looking for. And sometimes if it's not that important of a folder, I'll just delete the whole folder, which is not a bad idea, maybe. Okay, firmware, Android phone system, etc. firmware, Venus. Okay, now these are broken executables. They don't say they're malware. Probably okay, most likely okay. So, but they are backups. So it's a bit hard to tell. But Android runs on. It's Android. It runs on the Linux kernel. That's the way you're supposed to say it. So, I mean that is what it does. So. They should just be just like other Linux system files. They're just showing up as broken because they're not any kind of Windows file, and the system thinks it's broken. WinTech. What was a WinTech? Something that I have, firmware. It says Android. Oh, WinTech SD card. Right. Okay, so I don't think those are bad. Okay, WinTech. Okay, yeah. Now here's some DIL files. So these are, and it says Android driver, but they're DIL files, like Windows DIL files. Let's see, Android phone driver ISO extracted. Oh, that's the driver to make the USB work. Oh, for Windows, they are for Windows. Okay, I got it now. Those are Windows DIL files. They're always getting infected, so I'm going to delete delete those. Best, all of them if I can or whatever. Okay, doesn't show up in the quarantine, but there'll be at least one over there. Okay, and more phone. Oh, those are more deal files. I've seen so many deal files to be that way. So to be infected, sure enough, it's not a false positive. Well, this is not. I mean, could call that it is. I guess the way they talk in virus software talk, that would be false positives. But these aren't saying this. KlamAV is not saying these are viruses. It's saying it's a broken executable. So it's up to you to you need to look at it and see what you think of it. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, easy to boot. Yeah, these things in easy to boot all show up like that. Broken executables, a whole bunch of them. So I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Again, more easy to boot, a whole section. And there's not any deals or anything. I haven't ever seen any indication that the easy to boot system is infected. The one I have or any of these backups of it. These are backups of the easy. I just copied them recently from it. Decided to back up the whole thing. So I think that's okay. And more easy to boot. And they're not the type of files that are typical infected files. Now, RMPrep USB, that's a good program, but I'm just going to delete it just to be safe because I think that's a Windows program that the 7-zip file, but it's a Windows program that can build a multi-boot system, and it's easy to get again, so. And let's see, here's another one. Oh, there's a Clover light again. Let's see if we can delete any of that. Let's try one of them. I think it'll just work. Yep, it just worked. And then it'll be in the quarantine. And I'm pretty sure, let's see. Now there's nothing in. Okay, now the next one looks like a duplicate entry is what it looks like. And yeah, you can't take it out. Okay, RMPrep USB again. But it says, but it's in the RMPrep USB, but it's the Clover Light package. That's stuff I don't know what the heck. Why is that in there at all? So I'm going to just try to quarantine all of them that I can. Oh, it quarantined all but 2. So they were all different files. If I want RMPrep USB, yeah, I should just go to that folder. And that's going to be broken. If I tried to use it, I'd be severely frustrated. That's one reason why I used to just not want to do that, break up programs like that. But I think what I will do is try to go and find those folders and just delete those folders. Yep, those single files, they're either double entries of the same file. Well, that's pretty much what I think it's going to be. If you've already deleted everything else in there, then other Sardu. What? It says Sardu, but it's ISO puppy initrid GG. Well, that's puppy Linux. Maybe it's the file that's in the wrong. But it says, okay, it's a Sardu backup, like one that I made. Sometimes I would make a backup. Yeah, it's in the ISOs and it's in the installers, but it just says broken executable. It's probably not broken, so let's don't go nuts doing that. I may have already messed this all up, though. I may have messed up the ones that I actually wanted to keep. It's hard to keep track here. But these right here are backups of Sardu system multi-boot systems that I made. And puppy Linux initrid GZ would another Linux file that would probably show up as broken. So, okay, Sardu 10 beta. What's this? Yeah, installer builder. Sardu 10 beta. I don't really. Oh, that's not. Oh, that's Sardu 3 beta. Okay. Sardu 6 beta. I saved all the versions. I used it for several years. It used to be really good. Well, you always had to run it on Windows, but the betas usually were maybe a little buggy, though. So I was thinking maybe I ought to get rid of them. Can't remember. I don't see another Sardu. Oh, there's Sardu 3B10. So the beta would be the newer, the older one. Sardu 1. Sardu 3B8. Sardu beta again. Just helping me clean up files that I don't necessarily need, I guess. Another beta. It does get confusing when you're trying to figure out which one to run. Since Sardu doesn't work very well anymore, well, sometimes actually some of the older versions would work good, but maybe not with some of the newer ISOs is the thing. So, let's see, we should have, no? Oh yeah, because I did it, try to do them all. I think a lot of those are duplicate entries of the same file. So now these are the actual installers for the program. Those other ones were backups of live systems I had made. That's why I decided to keep those. There's another one, Sardu 3 again. Well, I don't know which version, but it doesn't say beta. It looks like I have 100 Sardu 3s in there. But see, I'd end up deleting that many. Let's go to the trash again and see. Yeah, that's enough to go ahead and empty the trash. On this, even though I got plenty of RAM and all that, the live system is only probably around, I think it's 650 megabytes. So, throwing these off of the hard drive, off the backup drive, and onto the live system in its trash, I don't want to end up filling it up. That's why I keep doing that. Okay, so quarantine, nothing that can be seen in there. Well, I just emptied it. Okay. Now, EFI, what is this? Linux, okay, SysLinux EFI. Yeah, that's part of the boot system of some SysLinux, I guess is SysLinux. Usually that's a folder on Linux. So a bit. Well, I'm not going to bother with it. I think it's part. Sometimes they'll be part of another. There'll be a folder that's say unzipped and it's got everything that makes it work. The application that'll run, as in portable or standalone mode. So you'll break it if you delete, things out of there. So I'm still in the heuristics broken executable, not in anything that says that they know that, KlamAV knows it's infected. Okay, here's some more. This is MPI tool pack, Cloverlight. It's more Cloverlight. You would think I'd already got rid of that. Well, I may have. This if you delete things, this menu, only the change you get is when something quarantines successfully. Otherwise, these lists don't change. It doesn't delete the files from the list as you delete them. It just says quarantined, and then if you delete them over there or manually like I've been doing, then it doesn't do anything to this window. So I've deleted a bunch of Cloverlight stuff, so these may be. Only thing is about it, I don't really use Cloverlight. I tried it and I didn't care for it. It's not on very many websites, and it's being a Microsoft thing. It really wasn't too useful really overall, and it used resources, and of course with anything Microsoft, there's no telling how much they're tracking and how much it's digging through your system. So I don't install it anymore. So I think I'll get rid of it. If I ever did want it again, I'd want the new version, of course. So every one of those is Cloverlight. Tool Pack plus Cloverlight. What's weird about them is those are EFIs. I'm not sure what I've done. Okay, now, there it is. There's the zip files. So I think these are inside of those zip files because I do scan inside of compressed file zips and tar.gzs and stuff. But if you don't, then that's where you'll miss a bunch of viruses. So it makes it a lot more confusing. It really does. But I don't want the Cloverlight pack. There's 2 of them. Looks like they're in the same folder. But since I'm not sure what's where exactly, I mean, it looks like they are all in the same folder. Oh, okay. So I think these are, but it's not going to really hurt to say quarantine. It'll do what it can, and it won't do what it can't. So at least now, since I know how to get rid of, when it gets whacked up, I know what to do. So quarantined a whole bunch of them, a lot more than I thought. So I don't think I'll be able to, as usual, I have to go over here to manually delete them, but there we go. I'm trying to be super safe about cleaning this thing up. So that's what I'll do. Can't do that, so I won't try all those again. Now then, there's Sardu 1. Well, I was leaving the main Sardu files. Okay, temp Sardu. Temp Sardu. Don't need any temps. Super grub disk. Huh. That's weird. But if I do, well, it'll delete the file, not the folder. So, but it just says download Sardu 311, and that says Sardu 3111. Huh. I was just thinking it's a temp file. I don't need it, but that's not going to hurt anything. I don't think it's an infected file. It's not a Windows file, right? Well, actually, I guess it is. Grub. Oh, it's a grub. Yeah, that's going to be a grub is the Linux boot system, and it doesn't say grub execute. There is a Windows version of grub that'll run on Windows. It'd be grub.exe. So that was not. I think it's just because it's a Linux file. Now here's another total commander. I'll just try them both. There's 2 of them. One of them went, one of them didn't. So won't be in quarantine. Just be in there. Okay. So now what do we got? More firmware, lib firmware. Those are all going to be Linux stuff that it just doesn't know what it is and what to do with it. More Linux stuff. Okay, now we're into encrypted zips. What's this one? Pharonics Test Suite. Lenovo i5. I was going to try that out. Yeah, okay. This is an encrypted zip. It's probably supposed to be. I'm not worried about that one. And then, okay, Thea's Hot Rod PC with FileZilla dates. How weird. But there's more than one of them. Encrypted zip. What kind of file is it? It's just a PDF with a number on it. But it's encrypted. Okay, and income tax. It's probably something like that. Backups. Oh, I see. I know the tax files come encrypted. So that doesn't mean they're encrypted because they're hiding the malware. Now then, email backups. That's email backups, Outlook, personal folders, inbox. Inbox. Okay, that's a backup of Outlook. Well, that's so old. Well, I guess it would be encrypted. I guess. Yeah. I don't. It's so old, I'm thinking maybe we could just get rid of it. But on the other hand, old emails can really be valuable. If I try to only save stuff that's, well, I save too much. Mom doesn't. So if I save her backup Outlook, she hasn't had Windows and hasn't used Outlook in years. But sometimes you can find things like old friend's address or something like that, something important. So should I delete that? It'll delete that whole inbox backup. Encrypted PDF. Yeah, I think if there was anything in there like a Trojan or anything, it would show it. So, well, no, it wouldn't because it's encrypted. Yeah, that's the thing about the encrypted ones. You don't know what's in there when they're encrypted. Okay, now that's another thought. So, most mailboxes have bad files in them. That, you know, it's just they've always been spammers trying to send you bad stuff. So I'm deleted it because, you know, you might be really sorry if you got back in there and accessed that box, that inbox file, and got a load of malware out of it. So it's old enough. 11.11. Oh, 11.11.17 was the day I copied the file with FileZilla, but I know she has not used Outlook for years. So there's another. Those PDFs with just numbers on them. Oh, those text files have numbers on them. Oh, I see it's the same number. They just weren't renamed. Okay. Matter of fact, they look like they could be the exact same file. Okay. Yeah, those ones that say income tax, I'm not going to delete those. How many times is that same backup in there? Looks like it's in there like 10 times. Not surprising, actually, because especially with her stuff, she would get it also mixed up and in different folders, and I didn't want to lose anything important, so I would just I see some of them have number 1, number 3, number 1. I probably let whatever program I was using suggest a new name, and I kept backing it up. And maybe they were in one folder, and then I moved them to another folder to get them organized, and one of these were copied with FileZilla, and then the dates changed, so and I was just scared to delete them because I was scared I'd lose the backups. Here's another Thetis ASRock PC, personal folders, inbox, Outlook again. These are not the ones I did a minute ago. One of them quarantined like usual, and the other one didn't. How big are those files? It doesn't say in here. Doesn't even tell you the size. Date modified 06/12/10. So that's how old those files are. Well, they're gone now. And yeah, I'm pretty sure those are duplicate entries of the same files. So, okay, the encrypted PDFs, Outlook again. Huh. Well, I'm going to go with my same decision each time. Then I'm going to get rid of them. I've been forgetting to do my screenshots, but it's really not going to hurt. I try to do screenshots of each section of. Yeah. Had that backed up enough times, didn't I? Usually I don't, you know, the backups usually don't even get touched, but what am I trying to say? They very seldom do. But when you do want them, you don't want something that's got some kind of infection in it. So, yeah, I've just never seen any kind of email inbox or old email, but anything email that didn't end up with some crap in it. And even though you may have scanned it several times, you know. I mean, since I was scanning inside of, well, I was scanning inside of encrypted compressed files, but these were encrypted. They can't be scanned inside of them. That's why I'm thinking, okay, that could be dangerous because they can't be cleaned. All of my Thunderbird profile folders, KlamAV can scan inside of them and clean them out, get rid of individual bad emails, and it does it every time for me. But those Microsoft ones are encrypted, and they're probably encrypted by the program, by Outlook, you know, but that means you can't clean them out, so get rid of them. They're that old, it doesn't matter. Okay, what's this? Easy to boot. Oh, okay. These are encrypted files again. And then what's this? The ECU, OBD open source. Oh, now that one I think will be okay, I think. Yeah, it's encrypted, it's not. Yeah, I've used it, and I haven't had trouble with it, so. Definitely, before I install a program, that's actually a file inside of the zip, you know, that program zip file or MSI or whatever. It's probably a zip or exe file, probably. So those are some files inside of there. They're actually auto-run CDD files. They're encrypted. Anyway, before I would install them, I would always scan them with usually Avast and Malwarebytes before I install them, unless I forget or something. That's one thing that's bad, if you forget. But so it's not like I'm just saying, oh well, they should be all right. You know, let me restart my preview while I'm thinking about it. Okay, what's this one? MD5 password is Oh, weird. ND5 crypt password is it's an encrypted file. Oh, it's easy from easy to boot. Yeah, all of that stuff's from easy to boot, so that should be okay. Yeah, those are that's recent stuff that I use, and I've been using it a lot, and I haven't seen. And that easy to boot SD card, every time I run Bitdefender on it, it scans it too, the whole thing, and I've never had a single pop up of any virus or malware pop up on it. So these are the backups of that. So I'm not worried of those. Those have been scanned in other ways, so I'm not worried about those being. Even they're encrypted and they couldn't be scanned, but they malware by okay. So if they couldn't be scanned by malware either maybe, but anyway, it's I haven't seen any evidence of it causing trouble. I guess is the only other way I could say that I think it's okay. You got to think through it and figure it out. Wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a bad sign. But if I saw if I saw 1 to 3 malware files come up on that, of any kind, real malware files that weren't just encrypted on that easy to boot, then I would just reformat the whole thing. I would say, okay, wherever that came from, I'm reformatting it, and then I would and then if I tried to, decided to build a new easy to boot, I would scan it before I used it with a couple of different scanners and see if it's the one giving me the malware. Because I got all kinds of stuff on that SD card. Of course, these are in the easy to boot folders of the whole system. These are RM Prep USB. Oh, let's see. Oh, I see. This is the install program. Yeah, this is the install files in the install program. Well, that's probably it's kind of weird what it says. It says easy to boot utilities, MD5, MD crypt. Password is zip. Password is so-and-so zip. And, okay, so, yeah, those look like they should be encrypted files. Okay. That's not the install program. It says utilities, so maybe, I didn't remember there being any, add-on utilities, plugins for it, but maybe there were and I downloaded them because there's a bunch of duplicate entries, but I think they are duplicate entries. There's really just one or two maybe of each file that I'm seeing here. And when there's two in two different locations, then it allows me, it goes in and deletes them for me. Okay, now the next ones are firmware in Linux and user lib firmware, which was evidently on the Fedora 27 system. It's fixed to be reformatted anyway, but I don't want to break it until then because I've been having to use it for things. Okay, now what do we got? We've got Firefox cache again, and these are HTML exploits, 4 of them. They look like the same thing. Oh, well, they've already been. Oh, I already quarantined what I could of those. There's 2 that say loose. Still can't quarantine them. I think they're gone. So I am done with let's just try wait, don't just do it without looking. Yeah, PDF exploit. Okay, all of those are PDF exploit, and you still can't quarantine any more of them. I think they may be actually gone. There probably was not that many copies of it. It just reported it. I don't know why in the world it ends up reporting it. It shows the same spot, the same address, same file name, everything, twice, right in a row. Or they're in a row because of the way I organize it. But let's go to the trash and make sure there's not something in there. Let's go. Oh yeah, let's empty the trash. And if this was your operating system, well, this is in this case, but sometimes I'm even more just picky about deleting them, but this is my backup drive, and anything that anything that I might need is really going to be on the new systems, and I haven't even started backing up my new Fedora 28 yet. When I do, but so the old backups, none of those files I needed. The things that I need are there's a lot in there that are from the system files. At some point, I ought to get in there and manually just find all the system files that I know I don't need, system folders, and delete them. Because all I really need is my personal documents, all my personal files of all kinds. So now, go back up here to the ugly folder. Well, okay, the Kingo root folder. This is, yeah, you can't. Man, I wish I could right-click and copy that address because otherwise I have to work my way through there. Let's see how I can do this. Okay, this is going to be Seagate expansion drive, Alcatel, Don, Alcatel. I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, I can't. So here's what I'm going to have to do. Okay, we're on the Seagate expansion drive, right? No, that's home live user. We want Seagate expansion drive. See, it needs to be wide so you can go to such a long address. Well, let's try this then. I guess I'll organize it by the name. Dawn. Okay, so there's my 3 phone backups. Now, is it in one of those? Looked like it was in, Android phone 1. Okay. 64 gigabyte SD card. Strontium 2. 64 gigabyte SD card. Strontium 2. Okay, I'm getting there. It looks hard for me to do. Now then, download. Don's. Okay, download. This is going to be in the downloads folder. Dawn Straight Talk, I believe. Apps and info. Yeah, apps and info, and we're looking at Kingo root APK. Okay. Is it in another folder? There is no Kingo root APK. Apps and info, Kingo root. Yeah, just right in that folder. Apps and info, Kingo root APK. So what I suspected is it was showing the same one more than once. So it is gone. And there's the unlocking the phone, secret code. Yeah, okay. That's why that was in there with that. Unlocking the phone, I think it's talking about unlocking the bootloader. Okay, but there's the information. I say the actual web page is telling you about it. But now, so those Kingo roots are gone. They kept coming up every time I scanned those folders, and I just kept leaving them in there. But now they're gone. Okay, so that is something seems different. Internal storage downloads. Okay, that's just another way to get to the same place in those. For some reason in the Android operating system, they give you more than one way to get to the same place. Okay. But I could try going there. Internal storage downloads. Let's see. How would I get there? Whoops. Oh. I have to go back up another one. Oh no, okay. Yeah, internal storage. I've already forgot where I was going. Downloads done. Okay. Internal storage, downloads. Dawn Straight Talk. Yeah, and it's not in there. Okay, so I think I'm going to be able to, I think I may be able to, let's just go back to see where I want to go next. I may not have to go through every single folder that has still has a loose in it. I think maybe I might end up being all right. And then what's this? Phones 2, 64 gigabyte card. Okay, so now I have to go to the second phone 2, right? Phone 2, 64 gigabyte SD card. There it is. And then Strontium Toolbox backup of the Kingo root. Toolbox backup. There it is. And no Kingo. Let's see. I'm in Toolbox backup. And then there should be Kingo root APK. Okay, backup file. Yeah, it's not there. So I'm typing the letters. But I'll go look. Most of them start with COM or Android, C, COM. The names they add, it adds like their org.videoland, VLC, you know. When it does, it makes it backup, it kind of adds the name of the file and the name of the website in there. That's just the way the backups work. So I think it might have, I don't know if it was an app I used or the system that's doing it, you know, the Android system. Okay, so those are gone. So it is double entries, double, maybe even triple entries of the same files. So I thought that this wouldn't go so long of doing this. So fixing to have to take a break. What I was thinking is I wanted to go and make sure some of the other ones that aren't, okay, that's in that Strontium. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are going to be gone. I'm sure those are going to be gone. Okay, now what's this? Tina's Hot Rod. Now, I definitely want to copy her files back onto her system. I don't want to accidentally get any crap back in there. But I'm not going to copy. Actually, what I would need to do is to absolutely delete the cache folders. It's going to be hard to get to. Theta's Hot Rod. Okay, so get backup drive. Theta's Hot Rod PC. Oh, one with FileZilla dates. Oh, I got out of the drive. Okay, Theta's. Oh, backup. Hot Rod PC. I see. And then Theta one with FileZilla dates. That one, oh, I did it with FileZilla because I had to. That one I'm not going to be copying back from. And probably when I get done rebuilding their system, I'll just delete that one anyway. I had trouble. I was trying to do it over the network. I found, what did I do? Yeah, 11.11.17, and then the newer one is 11.08.18. So that 11.08.18 is the one I'm going to use, or a whole home directory. I think I copied it. Yeah, I copied it straight off our hard drive. So that's an old backup that I don't really need, but I'll wait. Make sure there's not any personal files missing or anything. But let's go in there just to see if what I think's going on is going on. Oh, Mozilla Firefox Fedora 14 Theta Mozilla Firefox. Fedora 14. I'm not quite understanding what I'm seeing in that address. It says backup. Oh, backup. In the back, it's just a backup folder right there. Fedora 14, Mozilla Firefox. I was like, what in the world? Okay, Mozilla Firefox. .mozilla Firefox. Q. Here. Firefox. Q. Okay, there's only one Q folder in there. All right. Now. Default cache, .default cache, and then it's cache 001. .default, that's where I am, cache. cache 001. Yeah, there is an 002, an 003, and a map. So, yeah. So it's been deleting. It's been deleting them. There's just more than one entry. Okay, so be careful about where I leave that. I could accidentally delete everything. So I want to kind of, I'm going to go through the ones that are important, these exploit things and all that. But all the broken executables, I'm not going to go through them again. I feel the ones that I deleted were to be extra safe. If anything didn't get deleted that I kind of thought I was going to delete, it's not super bad. It's important stuff anyway. It's not stuff that are really actual malware. But these ones that are actual showing up as, I don't know why every time I drag that thing down, it lets it go and leaves it back up where I started. I think if you slip off the side of it, it does that, but why? It should just stop where it was at and not go back up. Okay. This one here says it's a exploit in that PDF file. Okay. But really, I got to take a break so bad, and this is probably painful to watch. I think you got the idea. Main reason to make the videos is to help people with, and of course, actually, this could be very helpful. As slow and going as it is. If first time you ran KlamAV and you ran into this problem, you'd be really aggravated. So, if you happen across my video, then you'll see how you can work around it. But I'm just going to have to stop my video here, go take a break and everything, and then, I don't know, I may finish this little bit, last bit, before I start my new video again. When I go back to my video, next video, I'll probably get back to work on the IBM machine. And I can just shut this one down finally after 10 days. It actually didn't bother me at night like I thought it would. It didn't make it too hot, luckily, because the air conditioner's been running a lot. Good for me. So, get off of that screen so that I don't accidentally close that still. I think it's actually done the work that's absolutely important now. I think everything that I needed deleted, it has been, but I want to triple check. But I'm going to have to go back. Got to take a break. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it's been a while anyway, I think. Yeah, an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half. So I'll probably reboot all the phones and all that stuff. So I'll be back. Unless I see something important, I won't be back, videoing that virus scan. I'll just come back working on the IBM, I believe. That's the next thing I've really got to get to. All right.